Here you go. Good morning, everybody. This is the Monday morning Hawkeye session. Today is November 2nd, and this is the Hawkeye trading room. Trading the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest in foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objective, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with the foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. This is a live trading room. It is for educational purposes only. No financial advice or recommendations will be provided. Any trades taken during this live session is not a recommendation or a suggestion that you should do the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Do not trade money you cannot afford to lose. Before trading live, always operate with a written trade plan that identifies the rules for entries, exits, targets, and risk management. And having said that, let's go to the charts. We're looking at there was an alert at the 7:45 time frame, East Coast time, on the New Zealand USD. And let me change my screen here.
Yeah, actually, I'll just share my screen then.
Okay, you want to share your screen. I'll stop sharing. You take yours, and then I will.
7:45, right?
It was at 7:45.
Perfect then. All right, cool.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's
All right,
do
Matt's
that.
gonna take over. I'll be back in just a couple minutes.
All right. Let's go see what kind of fun we can have this morning. So this was the alert on the 15-minute. Went down, kind of lined it up a little bit. You're seeing it on a 1-minute chart. And I'm just adjusting it just a hair. Now we got 3 hits to the top trend line. We got 2 at the bottom. Or we can make the bottom flat, which I kind of like this one a little bit better because then you got a little bit more compliance and you can kind of trust it a little bit more. So this is a higher time frame wedge. Here is your 30-minute 62 exponential moving average. And if it does break, I'm looking for it to go the length of the stick. So we'll see if we got enough to trade that. Maybe we don't, maybe we do. So this, I'm looking for at least 7 pips for the length of the stick. If it's too small, see, you got 7 pips. So you could secure probably 5 pips on the break at least if it breaks up or if it breaks down. So depends what goes on. Let's go see what the 15-minute chart tells us, if there's a different story here. There's too much. So let's see. Let's put this line back over there. And let's go see. Maybe this one. Maybe the 5-minute. Let's go to the higher time frame, get a better idea of what could potentially be happening. Just because sometimes it brings a little bit of clarity. Overall, the strength is to the downside. This is a 30-minute chart. We got a whole bunch of lines here, just a little bit. Let's hide this. Settings. You know what? I found something nice. This might help us with an entry. We'll go back to the 1 minute. Right over here. So what I'm going to try is I'm going to try to put a pitchfork here. And then I'm going to line it up a little bit. We got snow today, Ava. Did you get snow?
We had snow yesterday, and there's snow on the ground this morning.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of snow. Um, Nothing I think it's gonna stick, but
No, it's supposed to get nice and warm this week. We're getting going into another Indian summer here. I don't know
nice.
if it's going to hit you guys up there.
Well, I am not gonna be disappointed if it is. I'd rather as much warmth and happiness times as I
Yeah,
can get with this
yeah.
crazy state of the world right now.
It's supposed to be like go up to 18 degrees at some point Wednesday,
Be
Thursday.
quiet. Really?
Yeah, sunny. Overnight.
Huh. Well, that's not a bad thing at all.
No, I'm looking forward to it. Not swimming weather by any stretch, but it's still good.
Oh yeah. Now I'm having a really hard time getting that to be on the wick. Now I put a lot of emphasis on being on the wicks because we're dealing with the lower time frames. If you're only trading with the higher time frames, then putting it on the wick is not such a important factor. When you're with the low time frames, oops, sorry, too many charts. When you're on the lower time frames, it becomes kind of imperative. So let me zoom out a little bit. So let's see. Gonna try to line this up a little bit. It would have been better on the 5 minute chart. And I think I will go back to the 5 minute chart just to line it up a little bit. All right. So let's do, it's not going to be really solid because there's not a lot of data at this point, but I kind of like this. I think it's going to fake us out. Watch this. So we're breaking the top of the wedge. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm going to open up something in a second. Oh, hey. Sorry, I didn't see the chat. Oh, yeah. Let's go take a quick look here. I'm going to send this over to the other screen. Okay. So you see how it's kind of breaching a little bit. Might be because I messed with my lines. We might get a pop here. I like it. Yeah, there's a tiny little wedge. There might be a trade. Let me see. The computer is nice and slow this morning.
Great.
Yeah, it took like a whole 30 seconds to load TradingView. Oh yeah,
Wow.
let's see what that one's gonna do here. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. I'm happy with that. I'm not gonna go for a very big target on this one. It'll be pretty small. And my stop loss is gonna be just on the other side. Where's that? If I had the right currency pair in my let's see. Remember what we were talking about when we were talking about like a 5 minute candle close?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still waiting for that little pullback. I don't want it to go into the wedge like 2 pips because it's so tight of a zone.
How many
I'm gonna
pips
get a
is
little.
that? 7 pips your stick?
Yeah, it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting a little bit. Remember, I just like the whole idea of having a 5-minute candle close. There, it's breached a little bit, and it came back down, and it's tagging right to the pip. So you had a point of resistance and resistance and resistance, and now you have a point of potential support. To me, that looks pretty good. And the 62 is at the bottom significantly, and we're gone. So that's why I would be looking at taking this long, if that makes sense. You know, I'm just looking at the trend line. I'm drawing a little stick. I'm looking at a target. If I order, and my stop on this is going to be 6625 for rounded, but I'm not going to let it go that far. Because if it's not going to go in the direction that we think it is, then I don't want to be in the trade. The probabilities are there. It's like a fourth hit on the trend line.
So would you get into this as a long right now?
Yeah, I already did.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, I did. I took it long because I like the fact that it came back down and tagged it on the other side so that it became resistance. So the top of it became like it broke the top, but then came back down and tested it. I'm comfortable with that trade entry. We might get a little bit of heat, but if it does come back against me a little bit, then that's completely fine. I'm just not going to let it go to the other side of the wedge. I've been having a really hard time putting my stop losses in MetaTrader 4. I have to put it in like 3 times for it to actually accept it. Yeah, it's been weird. I'm not enjoying that.
No, it's not.
Since stop losses are not only your profit regulator, but they also get you out of bad trades. And God knows that they're going to happen. And you want to cut your losses as small as you can. You're not always going to get it right. And here we got a little bit of something happening. Now, I do have moving averages that are in play here. Actually, I should probably bring up my other charts. The one that has our indicators on them. Let's do multiple moving averages. And then let's do the Fibonacci price range plotter. You see how it tagged that moving average right to the pip, and it actually it was the top of that trend line. So we have the 1 minute 62 pulling away. You see the gap in between the 1 minute 62 and the other 2 moving averages. That's a pretty good sign. I like that. You see how every time it does that, it gaps and then it moves, and it gaps and then it moves. You can actually, most of the time, you can use the 1 minute 62 as your stop loss, as a rolling stop loss, so you can get a little bit tighter. You see how it gapped and then it broke down, and then it gapped and then it broke up. Well, here we got that same similar move, gap. And so you see how it did not cross. So Al and I were focusing a lot on these moving average crosses, but they're not just random moving average crosses. Here, the 1 minute 62, these moving averages crossed it, but it went back up. Here, it bounced, rejected, so it did not cross. Those moving average did not cross. It actually bounced on price, and then you had the gap. That's a very strong entry. Remember, the target pretty much going to be 66.37. Going to start the day off with a good win. I do not see this coming back down until these moving averages cross. Again, And that's because we just did observations. We're looking at what it did in the past and kind of judging our future based on it. So there's a lot of validity. So let's put this on the 2 minute, see if we got any potential targets here. So we got a demand zone right here, which is right where my stick is. So that'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting. And then you got a pitchfork line here. So somewhere between here, if I see it come up and I see a red candle here, then I might consider exiting the trade a little bit early, walking away with 5 pips instead of 7. Let's see. We're probably going to have a nice little wedge here too. There's if I blow this up a little bit, we're going to have, you're going to see, this is after the fact, so it doesn't really count, but what I want to see is those hits on the trend line. So 1, 2, 3, boom, takes off. Here, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then it did the same thing here as it did here in the smaller wedge. So let's see what's happening. It's going to come down, probably tag this one or this one, and then could continue up. I just got my other charts open. I'm just going to check things while we're doing this. Nothing like taking a quick little win early in the morning.
Yeah. That never hurts on a Monday.
Nope. All right. So we're getting the heat. Do we have it come back down and tag this? Oh, yeah, I think we're fine. This is coming out of the bottom anyway. The whole bottom of the move, we're making higher highs as we're going up, and we're making these wedges. So this is a high, this is a high, this is a high. So overall, the move is still up. So let's see what's going to happen here. If this moving average crosses this one, then it's going to come back down and tag the 1 minute. But our stop loss, as we're going forward, the original stop loss was 66.25, other side of the wedge. Once we get past the 1 minute 62, it is potentially okay to bring it up to just on the other side of this trend line. Because if it breaks the 1 minute 62, then it's going to continue coming down. And we would have got the wrong side of that. Which does happen, but this setup was okay, especially if we just want a little piece of it. Anyone have any questions about that? Because whatever we do, trend lines and wedges are actually fractal. So whatever happens on the 1 hour, whatever happens in the 4 hour, whatever happens in the 5 minute and the 1 minute, it happens on all time frames, and they act the same way. It's just the candles on a 4 hour are much bigger than the candles on a 1 minute, which means you're also going to require a bigger stop loss. Let's see. So just on a side note, my retail gearbox is now up and running, not the demo one.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, we everything's good to go for the most part. So Tyler stood on his head this weekend and figured way too much out. He was able to create a solution where the setup of a gearbox only takes 15 minutes, where in the previous iteration it would take about half an hour. But you wouldn't have to set it up every week. You just modify certain settings. But guys, we need to be very cautious this week. Very cautious. Because it's the presidential elections and people are going to do some crazy market stuff. I checked, and in 2016 when the presidential elections were there was like 500, 600 pip spike in the market in a day. So you want to be extra cautious. And maybe if you're using any type of software whatsoever, it might be a wise decision, at least for this week, to kind of either go super conservative or just not trade at all. Because it takes a lot longer to rebuild an account after you take a major loss than it does to pull out for a week and lose a little bit of potential gain. Let's take a look here. We're getting some more. It's just having a really hard time getting up there. So it's probably going to need more steam. I've yet to get a coffee in me, so a little bit tired. Boaz finally slept through the complete night without waking up. It was an actual miracle.
Wow. Great. Good stuff.
Yeah.
How old now?
Hopefully it maintains.
How old
Yes,
is he?
but you guys were probably still up checking on him.
No.
No?
No,
you guys
not
are
at
good.
all. No.
Uh.
No, he's super strong. He can almost roll around already, which is
How old is he?
he's like
2.5, right?
2.5 months,
Yeah.
almost 3 months. Oh, actually, you know what? He's going to be 3 months on the 3rd. So yeah.
Wow. So what's he weighing in at now?
Oh, I don't know. He's like a whale. He doesn't fit into his clothes. It's it's funny. Like he's at size 2 diapers already.
Is he?
Yeah.
Good little eater.
Huh?
A good little eater. He likes to eat.
Yeah, he eats all the time.
Good.
Yeah. He's like a little whale. I'm not liking how long it's taking to get up there.
Yeah, it's starting to base.
Yep. So let's see.
Think about exiting possibly.
What are the currencies at? Like, the
Oh, the strengths?
Yeah.
Let's go see. I don't have this one up on this chart. So let's go see. Relative currency strength. Oh, hello. So what it's doing is it could be forming another little wedge. Like the basing where it's at just looks like I can see the wedge here. Let's drop this one and excuse me. I can see the trend line.
New Zealand is still stronger by 2. Oh, now it's by 4.
Yeah.
It was by 2 a moment ago when it populated. And then it went.
It's supposed to be that, right? And then just currency.
Yeah, symbol. Yeah.
So let's clean this up. Come on, reload. Too much stuff there for me.
US is
They
gaining.
switched. Yeah, now the US is stronger.
Yeah, by 5 on the 1 minute.
Mm.
But that's a pullback,
Mm.
in my humble opinion, at least for now.
Matt, can you widen your top screen just to see if the moving averages crossed or if they're just pinching again?
Oh yeah, they
I
the
can
two
see
top
that there.
ones are, so it's gonna
Yeah,
cross
looks like-
price.
Yeah, but they
So-
haven't crossed over yet.
Yeah, they will though. This one's gonna
Well,
cross over the yellow,
Mhm.
and then it's gonna
Okay.
come and potentially tag the 1 minute 62, or it's just gonna bounce. But you see how price is now.
Below the trend line.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
These are really good trend lines. They're not just random. They've made me lots of money. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
So, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're not going to cross. Look at the Kiwi go. Yeah, that's the hook back we were looking for. I don't like how how crooked my stick is, but I'm liking the idea of waiting for the cross. So let's see. Excuse me. Now, it's probably going to come down a little bit more. That's a better wedge. It's kind of, price is kind of moving better now. Before it was kind of pretty slow because this is only 5 pips. The only thing I like about Halloween is the fact that the chocolate bars, the little ones, they go on sale. Other than that, I'm not a Halloween guy. So this week we kind of got a couple boxes. It was good. Watch it tag the 1 minute 62. This will be nice. Now, if it breaks the 1 minute 62 and goes into the wedge, that's not going to be so nice.
Yeah, now the moving averages crossed.
Mm-hmm. But there's still the 1 minute 62 down there.
Yeah.
And let's see. 30 minute 62 is way down here. This could still be a pass and check at a higher time frame. At the 5 minute level, this would look like a breach, and then it comes back down and tags it. That's a really strong trade. That's a confirmation that our trend line is on point. That's exactly where it needs to be. So let's see it go up a little bit.
Well, Matt, just to let you know I'm back.
Oh, hi.
So I'll listen in and see where you're at, and then I'll let you keep the roll going.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we're just in Kiwi US. We took it probably at the bounce of here once it
Okay.
finally broke, because we had one bounce, and then we broke it, and then we waited for it to come back down and test and took the trade. Now we're getting a little bit of basing up here. We got a wedge that formed and then a break to the downside. We had the 513 cross here on the way down, but we knew that it was going to bounce on the 1 minute 62, and now we are in trouble.
Oh no.
We were good. So the one rule was do not come back into the wedge, right? You don't want it back into the wedge here because that's a 1 minute 62. And you got the 30 minute 62 sitting right under there, underneath the wedge. Now my stop loss is 66.25. So I'm just waiting to see, because this is very, very tight of a zone.
Let's see.
Now
At what price did you get in to break the wedge? What price was that? 66.30?
Somewhere here. Yeah, 66.30. I had a 5 pip stop loss.
Okay.
So I put 2% into a 10 pip stop loss. Oh.
So you're getting a little bit of a bounce coming on.
My CAD trade, what happened to it? It took profit. I thought my QE trade got shut down, but yeah, so we're coming down, getting a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of a breach, just enough of a heart attack for anyone that had their stop loss on the 1 minute 62. I'm thinking that's not a good idea. I thought it was going to be, but it tags it too often, and because you have spread. So let's see if these are going to... See, we had the cross here. Not the cross, but the rejection here, Al. Remember we were talking about the rejection of the cross. So where you have the 513, 62, and it tries to cross, and then it doesn't, and then you have your move up.
Right, yeah.
So that's kind of the other confirmation I saw when I took this.
Okay.
This is...
Looks like you're getting a little bit of a bounce off that 62 on the 1 minute 62.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to see more. And our target on here is something like 66.37, 66.36. Not a really big target, just get a little piece of it in for a Monday.
You know, one thing we want to really caution everybody with this being the week of the U.S. elections starting tomorrow, I would expect a relatively narrow range of trading today. And then tomorrow evening, you may start seeing a lot of movement with the U.S. as the election results come in.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be ridiculous. I was looking back at 2016, I was mentioning while you were gone, and it moved price like... I forget if it was 500 pips or 1,000 pips in one day.
Yeah, unless you like roller coasters, I just stay away from the trading those.
Oh no, and especially with more automated systems, it's very to everyone's benefit to not turn it on or use it live. Just plug in a demo for this week, because the unknown can really hurt you. We're not in a casino. I've seen so many people on forums. Oh yeah, Forex is like a casino. I'm like, no, Forex is not a casino. The house doesn't always win. That's just loser talk. Because I know people that don't lose very many trades at all. So for people to say that the Forex is a casino and everyone loses money, it's just because they just haven't put in the work. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a significant amount of work to obtain some kind of consistency in the Forex market. And something that we found is wedges and trend lines have really changed the game for us, especially in our manual trading.
What was your target on this trade that you're showing?
I got a target of 38. 66.38, something like that. 36.38, somewhere around there.
Because I see an upward trend line, which is not confirmed trend, and I'm looking at right around the 66.50 area.
Sorry, 66 what?
66.50.6650. This is joking New Zealand, US. Yep. And there's a non-confirmed. It's a trend line, which from a higher time frame trend line, pretty much of a daily trend. And I'm looking at, and there's a fib line right there, 66.50.
66.50. See, I like that. I like that much better because this
Yeah.
is a very tight entry.
Yeah.
Like we're getting in on 5 pip stop loss.
Yeah, but this would be a continuation pattern of that strong up move where you had the wedge at the end, which is where the wedge alert came in. But I'll show my screen, show you what I'm looking at.
Yeah, you know what? Throw yours on there. I'll stop sharing.
Okay.
I've got a couple messages that I need to take a peek at.
Yeah, here's what I'm looking at with this one. This is what I did was I drew a trend line off of the I pulled up a 1 hour chart, and I'm looking over the last 3 or 4 days. And here's a high. Here's a strong move down, came back up, and it retested over here. This was on the 30th. That was probably Friday, I believe. And so there was a strong move. I looked at this being a supply zone. It came up, penetrated into that, pulled back down. But here's the trend line I'm looking at. Here's the anchor, here's the middle hit, and here's the unconfirmed hit. If it comes up, and I would expect this thing, if it does come up, it's going to retest this trend line, which will confirm this as either being the third hit, either to break up back into the supply zone or to be rejected back into the wedge. And the wedge was starting up over here. This started way back here on October 20th. And this is the first hit on that off of this area right in here. So right now it's inside this wedge, and I think it's going to probably stay there probably until probably tomorrow. I would suspect. It's still a pretty good size range, but
I'd be 1 hour.
I'd be looking at this basically a 50. See, this is on New Zealand dollar. So yeah, this is basically a 60 pip wedge, and we're looking pretty much between the two red fib zones right in here. Bounced off the bottom red zone up to the next red zone possibly, and stay within this wedge range until after they get some more clarification on the elections.
Oh, here we go. That hurt. We're taking some more heat. Let's see if we go 66.28.
But you do have a supply zone up above. You have a demand zone down below. Either way, either one, if it breaks out of this unconfirmed wedge area, you could be looking at a little bit of a head fake into either one. Now, the difference would be is that the range that you have down to here, that you have got about 16 pip range to the downside, and probably about the same, looks like about the same to the upside. And that's about 17, 12 pips. So either way, you're looking at probably a very narrow move if it breaks through here. You do have some upward momentum. This is showing, the 1 hour chart is showing New Zealand strength, which would be more of a long, if you could put this back to the 15-minute chart, which is what we usually work with. You're still looking at, let's see what the RCS tool is telling us on this one. You have a chance to propagate here. We are showing it's just, again, it's showing strength with the New Zealand USD. It got a strength by 3. So to go long on this one is not out of character. It's not beyond the criteria which we use to take our trades. I like seeing at least a 3-point spread on the to the strength of the currency. New Zealand's the first currency of the pair, showing strength by 3 on the 15-minute chart. And looking at the other time frames, we're looking at now the U.S. is showing some flipping on weakness on here. It's still showing strength on the 15. This could just be a pullback to retest the wedge. I don't know if my wedge is the same as Matt's, but
similar.
I do have a break off the. I mean, we had the break off the D. This is the, and then if we have the break, this is a rather narrow wedge here. We have
it is.
So I'd be looking at, we have the break of the D and also looking at the break of the C in the A area to come down here and possibly retest the 62 on the 5-minute chart. But this is your trend line here, and you have the anchor. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. This kind of confirms this trend line that got broken on the third hit coming in and possibly retesting. But it is a downward sloping trend. So I'd be looking more of the retesting the hit of the AC, which is the anchor. Here's your hit. Here's the third hit off of this trend line. So this was actually confirmed in a lower time frame sense.
Yeah.
but I would be looking at, so we do have our, let's see where, trend line, there we go. Here's our anchor, here's our hit, here's our confirmation of the
Yeah,
third
that's
hit,
a solid.
takes off, and that's a solid, and so this one's
Yeah.
confirmed.
Yeah, that's a good trend line.
You actually have this little wick here. This is the origin of this big strong move here.
Exactly.
You can actually move this thing back over a little bit. And you have the hit, here's a hit, here's a hit. So you actually have 4 hits off of this trend line.
That's as strong as it's gonna get. If it breaks that trend line,
then you're looking
I
for
will
coming down here
exit
to retest this. Yeah, I would I'd have my stop on the other side of this if you're in that trade.
Yeah. I'm not gonna let it go any deeper than that.
And this was only you had a 6 pip move to the upside, which is kind of normally what we get with these small breakouts. You usually get a 5 to 4, sometimes 5, 6, sometimes 6 pip move, comes back, retests it, checking to see where our fib lines are, and see where the nearest one is on this one. I'm probably, let's see, this one on a 5-minute chart. We're still waiting to see where this thing propagates. And we have a green line right. So right now we have a pass of the green line. Past it, it's coming back to recheck it. This is a good sign that this thing could still keep on going to the upside and to retest this area.
Ooh.
And there, so you have on your 5-minute chart. This is your 21 pip range, and so that would make a nice little trade if it can come. If this green line holds, it comes back up to the red, because this is our next. Here's where our supply zone is, and here's where our blue fib line is, which is usually the support resistance levels. And this is the range. This green range is green in between here. This could be a good trade to the upside. I like this little bounce here. Came back to the green line, the green fib line, passed it, checked it, couldn't hold below it, and now we have a blue candle. It helps supports this major trend line here. We have all our moving averages. We have our 30.62, we have our 5.62, and looking to see if it's the same. If we have confirmation on the other 15, we have everything is in the right order. We have the green, yellow, orange on the 15. So that's good. We had the bounce earlier off the 30-minute, which is right here, and that was back at about 6:15 this morning. Had a little bit of a bounce off of that. 30-minute held. And right now we have a little bit of a trend going on here. So it's a little bit. We have another little wedge developing right here on this 1 minute. I would like to see it kind of break this, get a close above this little trend line that we can draw here. Actually, make a little wedge on this one. Here to here to here, come back down. Right now, it's got a little bit of a downward sloping trend, but if it can break through the top of this, there's a little W pattern that we often talk about. Coming up, retesting this area, and see if it comes back down and retest this. So right now, it's developing. There's got a little bit of a wedge developing right in this little area right here. It's consolidating. That's the way I'm reading this one right now.
Yeah, I'm just observing.
And we'll see what happens. If we get a nice little break above here, if we can close above the C, that would confirm this level right here where we had the pass. Came back, checked it, passed it, broke it, but never really closed below. Now it's rechecking. So we have a little downward sloping wedge. We had this sloping wedge, but we also have this stronger one, which has had 4 hits right now, and it's still held this area. So I do believe that there's some strength to the upside on this one. Then I would go with a buy stop. And I'd be looking to buy stop somewhere. I'd like to see it close above the 66.35 area. We knew what the 66.50 was there. That'd be 15 pips. So I'm going to go with a buy stop at 66.35, get above the asking price. I'll go with 66.34. Take profit, stop loss. I'm going to start with the 10 pip stop. I'll start with a 15 pip target. Buy stop. If it comes up and hits it, if it can come up and break that. And if it doesn't, I'm not going to give it a lot of room. At least it's got to be able to break that to the upside. If you slide up over here to the left, let's see what kind of, how many wicks we have on the left-hand side of this. Go to a 15-minute chart. And if we have the A, which is, we have the A point right up here. Let me see if we have, see where our wicks are. If we get the filled at the A, come over here to the higher time frame. We have this big wick right here is going to be a problem. Here's, we had a nice move down, strong move, wick up, came back, rejected it. So this wick right here is going to be, you're going to have to get, you've got sellers right up in this area. It's going to have to pretty much get through this. But once it gets through that, then you have this strong move here, right here. This will be your target up. So once it can get through this wick right here, then I'll be saying it's going to be a pretty clear shot up to around this area. And I'll put another little supply zone in here. And I'm going to mark this wick to that area right there. Come back over to my 1 minute chart and see where these, how these zones look. Actually, let me go and move this supply zone over a little bit here. Move this one over. Mark it a supply zone.
Yeah, looks like we had another rejection of the cross of the 62 at the 1 minute level.
Okay. And we're not in this trade yet. We didn't, so right now we have a buy stop. So it's got to have the pressure come up there. It's got to come up. The spread will probably get, it could show up with a wick short of where my entry is, but the spread would probably get us into the trade before you actually see the price come up into that.
Oh, you said we're not, but I guess it's only potentially. Well, some of us took the trade already, so we're just sitting in it.
Yeah, see, no other alerts as of yet. So right now it's just consolidating. I do like this little, this wedge channel coming in. So as long as it stays inside this channel, there's really not much of a trade. I like to see it break out of that channel. That's from the A, B, C, D. Bring it over to a 5 minute chart, see if we can spread it out a little bit, see if we can get a little bit better picture of it. And like I said, we have a little bit of a W formed here. We always look, we would look for M's and W's inside channels and on trend lines. Now, if it can break this trend line that's been confirmed, if it can break that, this would be the target. Now the question is, would it be worth taking the trade if you have a looking at a bounce off of the 62? And that's only 5 pips. That would not be enough for me to take the trade. This would be, this was the top, let's see, this was the top of those wicks that we showed over there on the 15 minute. And even with this, it's probably going to be marginal. If we get filled here, this would be the target. This is, you barely get your 7 pips out of that. And that's the top of that wick that we were showing you earlier on that 15 minute chart. All the way over to the left. I think that was the top of it. Yeah, this is the wick zone right here. Let me put a clone on that so you can see where both of them are. This would be the zone. And I said I would expect you're going to see some selling action going off in this zone right here. You would have to have enough strength to be able to pop up through to get through all these sellers here to get on the other side to get up to the target area. And I think this is the type of action you could be looking at pretty much for today and tomorrow on most of the US pairs. Whenever my little triangle tool doesn't go in the right direction that I want it to go in, when I draw it, it gives me a little bit of a point where you want to be careful of, because I want this thing pointed in that direction. Right now we have a high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high. This thing still keeps making lower highs. Looking for a break now, pretty much. Here's where my entry is, up in this area.
Yeah, it's been making quite a few of them, hasn't it, Al?
It's been making it. Now, if it can close above this wick right here, we may have a trade. Because right now it's still making lower highs, still making higher lows. And we wait. We have some strength. It's right now the RSIs are still in the middle. It hasn't really broke out of the 75 area to the 90s, 80, 89 area. We still have green whole moving averages. So that's still showing everything's pointed in the upward direction, which is a good sign for the breakout. But we have a anchor. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. Here's it. Now this is on a 1 minute chart, so you can't put a lot of weight onto those. But you can see the price action. The price still has to get up and break this point right here. And then you'll have a higher. Then you'll actually have a higher high. Right now we don't have the higher high yet. Still not. So we can move this thing down here. Looking for a 5 5 and 13 cross. If this thing come down, tag the 62 without having this green crossing the yellow, and to get a bounce with a higher high, we might have a little trade there. So here's a low, here's a high, here's a higher low, here's a lower high, still forming a wedge, still inside this triangle right here. A break above the C could possibly get us going. This was the original wedge off of the alert. Strong move up. Did break the C, didn't close above it.
I like what happened with the moving averages here, Al, where it kind of, the 13 and the 5 kind of rejected. It came back, tagged it,
It never
and now
did
you got a
close. It never
separation.
did close. Yeah, it never did close. Now they're starting to separate. This could be the entry. This could be an entry right in there. We still have strength to the upside. New Zealand
Yeah,
is
it's
still
still
stronger.
working hard.
Yeah, it's working. It's having to. It's working.
We'll see.
This was the first higher high from this down move here. It did break this trend right here. We had an anchor hit. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. Had 5 hits. And now it just broke it to the upside. All the moving averages are in the correct direction on the 1 minute. We have strength on the New Zealand on the 1 and the 5. It's not showing so much with the US being stronger on the 15 minute. But I'm still liking it to the upside. Let's see if I get, I'm filled. You can see where this wick never came up and never got to my price point, but the spread got me into this trade right here. But now it just broke this high. It just broke, right now it just broke through this high, this high, this high, and now it's testing this one right here. This is a pretty strong move. And then you can put your stop down below this 1 minute 62. You probably still have plenty of room for your 10 pip stop. That's only 3 pips right now. Right now, you'd only be risking 3 pips if you had your stop down here. And that's about where I think I'm going to put my stop. I'll put it just on the other side of this other wedge. That still gives me, that's a 5 pip stop. That's a very comfortable. It's not a lot of risk. The thing I liked about this trade is that we had here is our supply. We have another green zone right up here. Now this is only 1 minute, so actually let me see what the time frame of this one is. 2 minutes. These are 7 pips apart these are 7 pips. This is pretty much where it started. It had cleared this one. Now it's looking like it's gonna come up and test this green demand line. SB at 36, and the next one we're looking at as the red one was up here at the 43, and then the other target was we were looking at 66.50. The biggest question is if we get the follow through today.
Yeah, that'll be the $1 million question. I'm not liking that as it failed to break the top there.
Mm-hmm. And this could be where it's just coming back to grab its buddies and say, okay, the coast is clear, come on back and let's head on up to the north side. But this is a strong rejection off of this price point right here. Remember, this is a confirmed higher time frame trend line, this aqua line. I'm going to take this wedge off. And so right now we have a anchor. Here's a hit. And this is starting to slope up a little bit stronger, so that's a good sign right there. It's coming in, bouncing off the 62. Still don't have the crossover of the 5 and the 13 right here. You can see where that's starting to, this blue candle is starting to pull those back up again. A little change in angle. That's a good sign for the upside. And now I'm looking to see if this thing will hold. Here's an anchor, here's a hit, here's a hit. I'd like to have my stop. I could get a retest of this area in here. I want to have my stop below. I'd like to have my stop really below this B area. It's still a 6 pip stop. Looking at 2-to-1 target area for this. And you have to let these things breathe. This is not, we're getting a breach of this trend line. It's going to be retesting this. If it can break this, I'll probably just get out of this trade. Again, this could be that bottom head fake here. We had a nice little angle up. We did change angles off of this trend line.
See, my stop loss was deleted from my MetaTrader 4 again. What the heck? Yeah, I've been having a hard time entering them. Like a terrible time. Yeah, your wedge is a little bit different than mine, Al. Mine, the top of my wedge hasn't been breached yet.
From the original wedge back here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just kind of deleted that one because I had this other one.
Oh, okay. I got you. Here's the bottom. Here's the top of my wedge now, right where it's at right now, where price is. That's the top. I want a big wick there. Because I know that price knows where that trend line is.
Yeah.
Like it knows exactly where it is. It's weird.
But here's the one. This one we got rejection. It didn't close. This is where oftentimes I'll draw this little box where I don't want to see it close inside the box, or I see it close inside the box to go short. Here's my B. Here's the break. Here's the pivot. We did get the close inside. This is where I usually oftentimes I'll have this enter on the close. But I'm still looking at, if it can break the bottom of this trend line, then we're looking at it, probably a nice trade to the short side. But so I can see a lot of whipsawing going on today. Breaks to the bottom, gets you in, you get up 3 or 4 pips, it takes you out. Here's the test of the major wedge, or the trend line. Just like this one a little bit better. But this could be a trade to the short side. We have on the 1 minute, that's dollar strong by 3. Whoops, wrong one. On the 5 minute, dollar is strong by 2, and we don't have the confirmation on the 15 yet.
Yeah, we got the moving average that closed underneath the 1 minute. So
Yep. I said I would still expect to bounce off of this 15. And right now here you have the 30 and the 15 pretty much right on top of each other on the 15-minute chart. Now that could be, there might be some room to the downside. If it breaks off the 15 down here, you've got 11 pips to the downside.
let's see.
This is basically showing dollar strength right now to the downside.
Yeah, we just actually we went right through the 9 o'clock hour without realizing it.
If we get a break and close below this, I'm going to take it short. I got stopped out on my long position. I'm not going to go for a big move. I'm just going to go for 7 pips.
Yeah, so you think it's going to come down and tag the 30-minute 62?
If we can get a close below this this trend line, everything come down. I would be using this the target for the 30-minute 62. Probably this one's going to be the first one. It's going to probably get a bounce off of the 15. But right now it hasn't really. Again, it hasn't confirmed. Then closed below yet. It's coming up and retesting these moving averages. This could be that. Could be the pullback to that could be the break. Come back down, retest the wedge area up here, which is this box that we've got.
Here's the bottom of the wedge, the original wedge.
Yep.
It just bounced off it.
And here's the break of the higher time frame. Closed below, coming back up. It's retesting it right now. I'll put a sell stop right here at the bottom of this candle right here at 66.26. If it tests this, comes back down, it should break through here, get me in, and then my target is going to be right about in, I got a 7 pip target, which is right down here, right below the, just above the 30-minute. Just tighten that up just a little bit. Now we're in the trade. And my stop's going to be up here. I'll give it about a 5 pip stop, should work. There's the break of the trend line. Here's the tag of the trend line. We'll see what happens with this. Here's a price action where it broke the first trend into our entered on close, got the close, came back up, that blue candle, strong move down, came back, didn't break through the top of this candle right here. I'm just gonna keep slowing this down and just keeping my stop above all this area. It's a nice little drop. So we're basing right here. We have a red candle followed by a blue. We get another red candle off of this blue candle. It should be coming down to retest that. Came up, retested the green fib line, passed it, came back up, checked it. And from a Fibonacci retrace extension standpoint, if it comes up, if this thing does break, there could be a nice little target down here at, here's the low, here's the high. Target could be right down here, right at the, where the 78 and 1-to-1, right here by that 62 right here. I'll be looking at that as a target area if it does break where the entry was. So often when we get the break of the wedge into this zone where we have this enter to close zone, it comes in, breaks out of the bottom, comes back in. And usually this zone, if it's a good trade, oftentimes this zone will hold on the pullback, which actually supports this wedge right here and also this one right here. Just came back and retested this zone and then looking for it to come down and hit my target. We already had the head fake earlier. Now this could be the follow through.
Yeah, the whole moving average is flipped red against.
It is showing strength to the downside right now. Not confirmed by this. This is still showing the New Zealand being a little bit stronger, but and that's where this thing could just be, like I said, this thing could just be range bound inside this this area for today. I'll give this a little bit more room up here. I'm going to keep it on the other side of the wedge. And if that gets taken out, it'll be the last trade I'll be taking of this one today. So far, this little zone's holding. In fact, this had a little bit stronger pullback. That may give us a little bit better target down here. Here's the high, here's the low, here's the pullback. Here's the target range. And we put the fibs on, we'll see, and that target is right here by this red fib line. This could be the next target. I'll move this up here to the target area. That's only a 3 pip profit on this where the entry was. Not a big move, but it could be profitable. And let's see where the moving averages are on the higher time frames. So we're going to put the mark the 5 minutes 62. Mark that right here. That's right in the middle of that target zone. Mark that right here at, that's at 66.23. I have 62, and go over to get my 15-minute. I already have the 30 on there. This is the 1562. That's a 6616. And we should have our moving averages all set. Pretty slow moving today.
Yeah, very slow. Very, very slow. Guess the big players are just waiting for the election, exactly like you said.
And we're starting to get a little follow through here. Let's see, the whole moving averages are all red. We have strength to the US dollar, strength to the downside.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is your you know how we have the clock usually on the side? Is it above the is it just higher up that we don't see it? Like, you know,
Oh,
like where the candles or you know, the end of the time frame candle, like you know how sometimes we watch that. I know we're on the 1 minute,
oh, I
but
see.
it's just
Yeah.
maybe I'm not expressing it
That's a
well.
good one. That's where did it go? Where
No,
is it?
it's in the settings.
Okay.
Let me see. I'll see if I
I'm
can
not
find it.
see- I'm not seeing
Maybe
my,
I'm just a
yeah,
nerd that looks for that at times.
No.
well, you're right. Yeah, I'm not seeing my clock either.
So right click properties and then or settings. Yeah, and then go down to scale and then hit last value. Count down to bar close.
Count down to bar. This
Oh,
one here. It's on.
it's clicked. Okay.
I think my computer clock is off though, because I noticed that down
Oh
here
yeah,
is
because date
showing
format
10.
September.
This is showing 10:24, and it's really only 9:24. So my computer clock didn't switch over with the daylight savings.
Yeah, something's funky, Al.
Yeah, well, it could have been because I just turned it on this morning after the clocks changed, and I lost that power, so maybe that has something to do with it. I might have to just reboot my computer.
It sure could.
Oh, I'm glad I
Hey, you're right
asked
though.
them.
You're right. I'm not seeing the clock on the side here. Oh,
Okay.
thanks for bringing
Yeah,
that to
I
my
just thought
attention.
maybe it was up higher, but you know, that's
No,
why I was
I am
asking.
seeing it on my other charts. Now, why am I not seeing it on this one?
Mhm. Okay.
So it's showing
No.
right now, showing 41 seconds for the 1 minute bar to close.
Mhm.
It's not showing it here. Let me see about the other chart.
Okay. I didn't want to cause a big problem.
No, but I'm glad you brought it to my attention because I didn't notice that. But you're right, I usually look for that, see when it closes.
Mhm.
Right now, it's still showing some weakness through here. It just doesn't want to confirm the breakdown.
Mhm. And the U.S. is still stronger than the NZ Kiwi, so.
Yeah, this thing may not break down till after the market opens with another 4 minutes. I said I'm not going to give this a whole lot of room today. I'll just take my profits early on this one if I can get it.
Yeah, it seems like it's not great trading, to be honest.
No, it's I said I don't expect it to be this week, at least today and tomorrow, especially tomorrow morning. Tomorrow evening will be a different story. About with the election, there's been an awful lot of early voting this year because of the COVID and everything else, and so a lot of the votes have already been cast. But you can't project what the pollsters are telling you.
No, because we all know they're almost always wrong. Or manipulated or
There you
given a
go.
false
I would say,
impression.
yeah, manipulated is the pollsters are basically just giving the polls of what they want you to think.
Mm-hmm. Not surprised. It's like that up here in Canada too.
Yeah. There's already like, what, 84 million that have already voted?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
But-
impressive.
Yeah, that's more than voted all last time.
Yeah, that's like twice the population of Canada.
Mm.
They had a rally in one of our small towns here in North Carolina this weekend, I believe it was.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Trump was there, and there was like a half-mile long line waiting to get in.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
There have been supposedly more Trump people showing up at Biden rallies just to give them a hard time because all they're doing is like staying in their cars, honking their horns when Biden speaks. The
Oh,
Biden
I didn't even know
people.
there. I saw a couple of videos of people at a Biden rally, and they said there's like no one there. But
Yeah.
anyway, let's stay away from
Shame.
politics, I guess.
Yeah,
But
there you go.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still optimistic that we're going to get this down to this target. It's just taking this sweet time to get down there.
Yeah.
Nice drop, basing, drop. The further it goes sideways, usually the stronger the move down is going to be.
or the move in the direction of the break.
Yeah. Let's see how our strength meter is looking on the other time frames. We're looking at still New Zealand strong, but it's narrowing. The gap's narrowing. We still have strength to the dollar on the 5 and 1, and we just got the flip nail strength to the dollar. It's just flipping back and forth between the 5. Is right now they're right in the middle of the range of the currencies. 5 and 4 is right in the middle of that 0 to 7 range. Right now we have convergence of 2 confirmed trend lines. We had this one that got broken. It hasn't been breached yet. Tested but not breached. We have the other confirmed trend line from here. Here's well, actually, this isn't confirmed yet. This was the anchor. Here's the high. Here's the test. We don't have this one's not confirmed yet. You can confirm that one. There we go.
$9.31.
931 opening of the market.
Oh yeah, look at that breakdown.
Here's the drop. See if it bases. It might go a little bit further down. It may come and retest. And so we have this is a 562. Here's a 3062, and here's a 1562. And right now we just got to bounce right. The market open right off the 5.
Oh, Brian's here.
No way.
Yes way. I see his face.
Who?
It is so.
That Brian man.
Say it.
Brian, oh my
Oh.
goodness. So good to see your name.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird.
Hey, be quiet. Really? It's the Brian.
Uh-huh.
It's the Brian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian.
He gets a "the" in front of his name.
We just call him Brian.
It's just
like
little.
Cher.
Yeah, yeah.
Just one name.
I'm like the artist formerly known as Prince.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. Nice to hear your voice, my friend.
Kind of weird, isn't it?
Mhm. It's
Yeah,
great.
you kind of.
Just kind of we have 2 days kind of sort of off, sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah, we still have to work from home, and I don't know exactly. I just found I was been talking with one of my other teachers who we just found out we have a student who is COVID positive now. So now we're having to jump through hoops for that.
Oh,
He showed no signs of it on Friday, and all of a sudden his parents said, yeah, he just wasn't feeling well, so we went ahead and got him tested. And now because of that, you have to remove anybody who was near him. So we've got to remove about 7 other students from the class and quarantine them for approximately 14 days. But it just so happens that next week or this week is truly what they call a 3-day week in school. Next week will be 5. So if where they timed it out, he'll be back by next week.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it worked out real well to have a shorter week. Well, it's shorter for the students, not shorter for us. But
good. Well, I hope he does well.
yeah, the parents
that's
say
hard.
fine. Yeah, parents say he's fine,
Good.
but they were wanting to be safe, and they just didn't realize that once they went to that testing protocol, that a lot of other things start coming into play.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Al, did you hit your take profit or did you
I
bail?
was getting ready.
It didn't take my profit. I'm still in it. It didn't. It came right down, but the spread didn't get me out.
It's going to come back down.
I think it
That's
will
my
too.
prediction. I don't make predictions very often, but
Oh yeah.
This is our trend line. This one did get confirmed off this hit right here. So the third hit has been confirmed on this one. So we're confirming that trend line. So basically we have 2 opposing confirmations. So as long as my little box here holds for good, I think. If it breaks the box, then we could be looking at the retracement to the other side. But give us a chance to
was this an IRIS alert though?
Yeah.
This was an IRIS
I'm
alert
going back
at
to trying to find where it's at.
7:45 this morning.
Is that 7:45 your time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm all jacked up with times right now.
Yeah.
My computer's my little scale here is okay with the time, but my computer clock isn't quite right, so I may have to reboot my computer right when I get done here. Somehow didn't recognize the daylight saving switch.
Right, your 562 line target, how far was that from your entry?
The 560, about 3 pips.
Okay.
That's part of the problem with this trade. They really didn't have a lot of room to the downside.
It was a very small wedge.
Yeah.
In my when I did it, it looked very small, and what I should have just disqualified it. Looking back now,
because
You're
it
talking about the
was so
initial.
small.
yeah, I've went back and I don't know if you found this in your back testing, Brian, but
Tiny ones don't work.
Tiny ones don't work under 15 pips. Ignore them. If it's under 15 pips, ignore them because it's going to consolidate and make a bigger wedge before it takes the move. But yeah, that's an observation. But here's some interesting observations, Brian. So 63% of the time it's going to break in the same direction as the previous trend.
Correct.
And 75% of the time it's going to go the length of the stick from the break of and then the stick is drawn from the top of the wedge to the bottom of the wedge. And then you put that on the break and it's going to reach that target 75% of the time.
Yep. You just have to be patient with it. That's kind of the same philosophy we were finding earlier, that you can get your 7 pips, and then wait. If you're patient enough, you can get all the way down to 21, 22. Well,
Exactly.
what was the size of the wedge we were normally shooting for? Anywhere from 20 to 30 in range.
Mm-hmm.
I hope y'all can't hear me. I'm chewing down on breakfast while I got a break.
Oh, I need breakfast too. I
wanted to trade and get in with you guys since I haven't been here for a bit, but I wanted to make sure
As you can see, you were well received.
Yeah. I'm so happy you're feeling better as well.
No doubt.
How's your leg doing?
I definitely didn't go get tested, because if I would have done that, that would have caused a whole new other issue.
Oh yeah. No, you would have.
Well, Kim would have then had to been quarantined after I was cleared, which would mean she'd been out of school for 20 something days.
Oh my word, really?
Yeah. And I didn't want to do that to her.
Yeah, what a gong show.
Yeah. It's a little weird.
Let's see. It's past 9:30, and we could probably call this one almost any time. I don't know if we want to. Right now, the trade's still active. It's still hitting trend lines. It's still inside ranges. It did come down, almost hit our target, and now the question is whether or not it's going to reverse on us, or if it's just going to spend the rest of the day driving everybody crazy.
Yeah, pretty much not. Tonight's session for me, I'm just going to go over all the tools that we use. I'm not taking trades.
No,
not new ones. Not because because the leverage has changed on most brokers.
Yeah, that's true.
The volatility is going to go crazy. Banks will not be trading for the most part, so the institutions will not either until, and it could go all through the Wednesday. I mean, the fact is that this particular election for us is going to impact the entire world because it's two different global views.
Yeah, very astronomical of an election, to be honest.
Yeah, very polar global views, as you said.
Yeah. You got one who's definitely more America first. The other one's more what we can do for the world, which, I mean, it doesn't matter which one you are. It's just the way they look at things. And it does change the economic policies of the administration.
Oh, for sure.
Is this normally when you guys shut down for the day?
Yeah, I would just say I think we're probably about ready
generally.
to shut down on Mondays. Usually we shut down about 9:30, 9:45. So
Well,
let's just.
Crap, I wish I'd have got in. I wish I could have got break away a little earlier.
We're not getting any new alerts that I'm seeing, and we have this trade. It's if you're in it, it's still active. If you're not in it, I would say stay out of it.
Yeah.
And keep an eye on it. And on that news, we will see everybody tomorrow morning, same time, 8 o'clock.
I'm gonna try to pop into here. I'm working from home, so at least part of the day.
So on that note, we shall see everybody tomorrow. Everybody have a good day and stay safe. And
Have a great day.
See you
All
guys.
right, later, guys.
Later. Have a
God
good day.
bless.